Necropolis League was good for me. Now, don't grab the pitchforks just yet. Hear me out. I don't mean to say that Necropolis was good, or even that I liked it, or really even that it was bad. What I am saying is that Necropolis made me stop and think about why I play Path of Exile at all. It is because of this that I came to the realization that I was playing the game wrong. At least for me. In part due to creating build-focused content, I found myself chasing checkmarks that I didn't care about so that I could satisfy the inevitable questions of, can this build do T17s? I've done something similar for a while with testing every build I make against uber bosses, which I also just don't care about. I found myself trying to contend with the hardest content, not because I enjoyed it, or even because I really wanted a build to be able to do it, but because in my own head I had set a goalpost for what a build needed to do to be successful, and that goal was ubers, and that goal was extended to now include T17s. This goalpost that I set in my mind caused me to constantly think of my own build as a failure and stole a great deal of my motivation to play or make content. I didn't want to make more videos because in my own mind, my build was already a failure. Looking back now, this seems silly, since what I was able to do is take a Herald of Thunder poison build from League start to do all of the Void Stones all on its own. That, to me, sounds like a successful League starter, but rather than being happy with that, I determined that in order to be a success, I wanted to down an uber, which meant I needed to be able to do T17s. And this is where the frustration really kicked in. To be clear, I do think there are problems that need addressing with T17s, but other content creators have covered that better than I really think that I could. Instead, I think it's worth thinking about our own requirements for our builds, and considering what we as players enjoy, rather than letting efficiency and viability determine what can even be fun for us. For a great deal of the league, I let T17s steal the joy of one of my favorite build archetypes, rather than just accepting that the build is just as fun in T16s as it's always been. What I could have done instead is accept that things like this give me as a player an opportunity to explore builds that give me similar satisfaction, but might be better at scaling into harder content. For instance, I made a corrupting Cry Juggernaut this league, which was much more viable in T17s and gave me a similar amount of satisfaction to play as Herald of Thunder. In pursuing this imaginary goal, I lost sight of the thing that I enjoy most in Path of Exile. I enjoy the experimentation of builds more than anything else. I enjoy seeing a random unique and thinking about how I can turn that into a build that I find fun. To me, the enjoyment of a build is never how far into difficult content it can go, but how enjoyable it is to just play. Ultimately, if it can farm currency for the next terrible idea that I have, then I should consider it a success. That is what I enjoy most in PoE. I'm not motivated by challenges or mirror tier items or even thousands of divines. What drives me is interesting build ideas. And once I came to the realization that I had lost sight of that joy in chasing T17s, my enjoyment of PoE came back in a big way. I say this not to belittle anyone who is driven by challenges or grueling content, but instead to remind those who might have, like me, lost sight of their joy of the game. That part of the reason that PoE is great is that it's a sandbox, where you get to make the rules. That means if your sandcastle can't be lived in, who cares? This league has been good for me because it reminded me of what I really enjoy about Path of Exile, and helped me return to that enjoyment. Thanks for sticking around and listening to me ramble on about the philosophy of this league. And if you want to see more about the builds that I showed in the background, then stick around, as I'll be making a final update to my Herald of Thunder League starter, which is long overdue, and videos on all the other builds that I tried with their varying levels of polish. One last time, don't let efficiency and expectations steal the joy from the video game we play for fun. Again, thanks for watching, and stay sane, Exiles. I'll see you next time.